Hi, it's Maros, and welcome to this MakeSenS video. In today's video, we will gonna to make a simple, very simple system to switch between first-person view to third-person view. This is not something I plan to add in the main game, not before later in the development, but it's a useful debug tool actually. And you will see in the next video when we will be making the crouch system that it will be quite useful to have the possibility to quickly switch between first person and third person view. In bonus, we will also make a more complex system with a smooth transition from the two view. Something that is more cosmetic and that will not be used in SenS. Something that you probably won't need in your game, and it's not used actually in many games. I can remember GoldenEye and Metroid Prime using this, but in most first-person, third-person game, it's not used. It's a quick switch transition. But I think it will be useful, especially for beginners, and it will allow us to explore some useful functionalities and tools inside Blueprint. In addition, with the knowledge we'll get from this video, you will be able to transfer this system or to adapt this system, and at least to have the knowledge to build your own system for making more gameplay useful features, like in third-person shooters you have this aiming system with a transition from the global third-person view to the shoulder view in order to have a better view on the gun and to aim more clearly. So this method will be useful to create such kind of systems. That's all for the introduction, so let's start. So the first thing we need to do is to create an input. Let's go here and create an input action, and it's camera switch. Fine. So it's just a toggle, so we just need a boolean kind, and we will have a trigger for triggering the input when we press the button. In addition, we will give a key to this new input. So let's find our camera switch, and let's bind it to the C key, and we can also bind it on the controller. Then we will go to the inside the player controller, and we will make something with the input, camera switch input action. And then we can go inside our character and create a new function. Nice. We can compile, save, and go into the player controller, get our controller pawn, and call the function. So now we have the input calling the function. The function is doing nothing, of course. And before making the function, we have to create the camera. Give it a name. And let's make an arm to attach this camera to. We can rename this one in come on, FPV. Very good. So it's actually the opposite of what we wanted. We want this camera to be attached to this, and this is the children, so we have to attach this to the capsule component first, and then the camera to the spring arm. Alright. Our camera is here. We can compile and save. And in order to adjust our camera, we can go, or to have a better view on adjusting our camera, we can go here, open the content browser, and take our character and put it on the map. Alright. And you can see in any component or actor, containing a camera, when you select them inside the map, you will have a little window showing the view from the camera. So with this we can easily adjust our camera settings and place the camera placement, the point controller rotation, in order to control the camera, to the arm, to control the arm. What else? I think it's fine like that. We can just test. Maybe you want to put the arm a bit higher. Yeah, it's enough for testing. Over if we're gonna test now, we will have the first-person view actually. The reason is our third-person camera is not active, and we have first to deactivate the first-person camera. Here, auto-activate, you set it off, and this one is on. So now if we test, alright, and you can see we have classical first-person controls with the strafing movement and forward, backward movement. And usually in third-person view you prefer to have the character going in the direction you are inputting. If you input left, you don't want left, you don't want to strafe left, but you want your character to turn to the left. And this is very easy to change. You just have to go here, search for rotation, and instead of use controller rotation yaw, we can just orient rotation to movement. And here the rotation rate will decide at which speed the character will turn. So if we test now, we now can control independently the camera from the player. And also if we go on left, the character will turn left. And if we go backward, the character will turn backward. So this is more traditional third-person view behavior. As I said, you can change the rate. If you set a very low rate, you will see that the character will take a lot of time to go inside the direction is moving along. And also it creates some sliding issues. So I advise you to let this value quite high. Yeah, and you can also decide to have your camera not totally aligned with the character. And there are different methods to do that. First, as we did earlier, we moved the camera higher. And you can also move the camera on the right side to have a more stylized view. But you can see that when we are rotating, we are not having the character on the center. And it can be, well, let's use the controller for smoother movement. Yeah, it can be a bit disturbing to rotate, to have an uncentered rotation center point. And in order to have, yeah, I can just reset this, yeah. In order to change the camera placement, but to keep the rotation centered around the player, you can use a socket offset here. And for example, we can move on the camera and move it on the right. You can see we have the same point of view, but now we are always centered on the character. It's maybe a bit less disturbing. So it's parameter you can experiment on depending on your needs and your intention. Also a little thing I want to show before that. I forgot. This is something we have in the first-person view, if you followed my previous tutorial. It's the lag. The lag allowing to have to have a smoother movement. And we can enable the lag. And you will see if we put the lag very, let's just try with the default value. You can see now the camera take a certain time to go to the to its supposed location. And if we decrease a lot this, we will see in action what is going on. We can start going forward, and the camera take a lot of time before following the character, and to reset in its default location. It can be intentional. And also you may want to set a camera lag max distance in order to not go too much far away from the character, especially if your character moves very fast. You will lose sight of it. So if we set this to 100, we see now even if the camera lag is pretty slow, the camera will not go too much far from the character. So we have smooth movement of camera, smooth adapting movement, but also we keep on having a close enough camera to not disturb the gameplay and the control. That's all I wanted to show you at this point. We can reset and yeah, deactivate the third-person camera, activate the first-person camera, and go inside the function. Yeah, the first thing we are going to do is to create a variable. Is first-person view. You have to compile in order to set the default value. Set it to true. We are going to start the game in first-person view. And as it's a toggle, we will want to check this variable in order to decide what we are going to do. Are we going to first person or to third person? So let's make a branch. And let's set the variable. Maybe we will set them later, but if we are in first person view when we are inputting the toggle control, if we are in first person view, so here we are going to the third person view, so this will be false. And if we are not in, if we are in third person view, we are going to the first person view. And in order to do that, we will need our camera. As you can guess, we will just activate or deactivate them. So we will activate the third person view and deactivate the first person view. Very simple. And we will do exactly the opposite for switching back to the first person view. Activate one and deactivate the other. You can alt click on links to remove them directly instead of right clicking and it's here and breaking this link. It's more easy. And so we will invert this one and this one. Currently we are, if you remember, rotation. We are orienting the character to the movement and we are not taking account of the rotation yaw directly, at least. So we are currently in first person view, but with the control of the third person view. And you cannot strafe or go backward, as you can see. So we will set back this variable by default, and we will also change them here when we are changing, when we are switching camera. So use yaw, set use rotation yaw, and the other one is it's in the movement component, I guess. Exactly. So in third person view, we will deactivate the use rotation yaw and activate the orient rotation to movement. Is that all? Yeah, I think so. So we can do the same when we are switching back to the first person view. And we are good. Let's test. Okay, we have first person controls. We switch. Yeah. And we have third person control. Switch back. Okay, it's working. It was very easy to create, as I told you.